In this tutorial, I will show you the basics of how to draw a Lego piece. The Lego piece I'm going to draw looks like the one you see on your screen, with a hole in the center of the front view, and on top two studs with depressions inside of them. The first thing I did was sketch this Lego piece on a piece of paper and measured it and put those measurements down on my piece of paper. I'm going to start out with a new part and a rectangle. Choose a front plane. I'm going to choose the front, look at this straight on, start at the origin and draw a rectangle. I'll go to Smart Dimension, and so when I wrote those measurements down, now I can just look at those measurements and keep going. And so I got about 16 millimeters for the length of the front here. So I enter in 16. And for the height, I got about 10 millimeters. So there goes my rectangle. I'll use my scroll wheel to zoom in a little bit. Now I can go to features and give this some depth. So I'll extrude it, and I got about 8 millimeters. So now I have my basic brick here. No studs, no holes yet, but we'll add those next. Let's add the hole that goes on this front view here. So I'll choose front, and I can sketch a circle. Remember that you got to click the surface first. That yellow warning comes up. Click the surface first that you want to draw on, and now I can draw a circle. Now remember we talked about defined and underdefined. This circle is blue, it's undefined. SolidWorks does not know exactly where it's located, so we need to tell it where it should be, and we'll do that with Smart Dimension. We'll start out easy and just do the outside of our circle here. You see that symbol there is diameter, and when I measured, I got about 5 millimeters for the diameter, and so it gives us the size of our circle. But what we need to do now is tell SolidWorks where is the circle located at on this surface. And the way to do that is to measure from the center to an edge. And so we're going to measure from this center to this edge, or from the center to this edge, any of these four edges, to tell SolidWorks where it's at. And we do that with Smart Dimension. Click on the center, and then click on an edge, and when you do that, a measurement comes up in between those two. Since this circle's in the center of the whole rectangle, it's pretty easy. And so the height was 10, so half of 10 is 5. So that locates the circle going up and down. But now I need to locate the circle going left and right. So I'll click on the center again and come over to this edge, and there goes my other measurement. The length was 16, so half of 16 is 8, so I'll put 8 in. And look at that, my circle just turned black, and it says fully defined. So that's how you locate a circle in SolidWorks. So now I'll go to features, and let's cut this. I'll go through all, rotate a little bit, and that looks right. So I'll check, and now we have our hole going through our Lego piece. So now let's go to the top. Come up to my menu here, and there goes top right there. So now I need to add 2 circles to the top. So I can go back to sketch and circle. Remember to click on the surface first, and there was a circle here and a circle about here. So now let's locate those circles. I'm going to start out with a diameter first, and the diameter for these circles was 5 also. So I'll get the right size of this circle. Then I'll locate the centers of the circles. So let's do this one. This will be the easiest first. We'll do half, and the depth was 8, so half of that should be 4. So enter in 4 there, and do the same here. When I measured my Lego, I looked really closely at it to see where the centers of these circles were at. And this is 16 long, and so if we divide this out and put these evenly in here, it works out to be 4, and I measured and it is 4. So it's also 4 millimeters from this edge. and that circle turned black, and this circle turns black. So fully defined again right here. And now I'm actually going to extrude these because they're studs, they're coming up. I measured about 1.5 millimeters. And check that, and there goes my studs coming up. These studs also had a depression on the inside, and so they were cut back into. So I want to add that feature in there. So we'll look back at the top. Choose sketch and a circle again. So this is real important here that you choose the right surface. We don't want to choose this surface. We want to choose the top of the circle or the top of the stud. So I click on that surface, and that's the surface I'm drawing on. Now if I move my mouse around, I'm not clicking on anything, it will show me the center of that circle. And that's exactly what I want, because I want to start this circle in the exact same center as that one. So now I can click and drag out. And in fact, since I chose this surface, it's actually taking in consideration this surface as well, since they're on the same level. So again, I'm going to move this around and drag this one out. So now I can go to Smart Dimension and tell how big this circle is. We'll go with 4. And those turn black. The reason they turn black is because I gave that measurement, but because I started in the same center as this circle, as the outside circle, it knew where that was at, and so it's located all those together. So now I go to Features. I'm going to flip this around a little bit so we can look at it real well. I think we went 1.5 up, so let's go 1.5 down. So we'll cut. 1.5 is already there. Check. And that gives us that stud there. There are some more details that could be added here. I think there was a little edge here that you could add to this circle to make it look more realistic and make it more accurate to what the actual Lego is. But these are just some basics. One of the main features we are missing though is on the bottom. If you look on the bottom of a Lego, you notice that it's hollowed out partly because so that another Lego can stick into it. So let's look at this bottom real quick. So there goes the bottom. A neat feature, and it is under Features on SolidWorks, is a shell feature. If I come in here and click on Shell, and then click on the surface I want the shell, over here I need to add in the millimeters. This is basically how thick your outside wall is going to be, and I'm going to put in 1 millimeter for that, and then click check. And when I do that, it takes the material out on the inside. Now it didn't take our circle out, it went around our circle, so that's a good thing, but it took the rest of that material out. And so now we have a Lego that has room for studs from another Lego to fit inside of it. And of course you can go in and add a color, make it look a little bit more realistic. And don't forget the back. I didn't do the back, but always don't forget the back. So there goes your basic Lego.